All right. First rule of this channel is we do not talk about this channel. Second rule of this channel is this is not legal advice. So, welcome to the week 8 sit start grift show. I got my schedule up. I got the weather. I think the only game that really has any major weather to it is going to be the Rams Cowboys game, likely showers. The rest are either in a dome or there's not enough of a chance of rain. Oh, the Jaguar Steelers game, definite rain showers in that game, and I think that affects the overall point total of what's going to go on in that game. And then there's the chance of snow in the Chiefs and Broncos game coming forward. I don't think that'll affect things. If there's not enough wind, I don't think that the cold or the snow is really going to make a difference in that game. I got all my stats up. If you're wondering what I'm drawing off of, implied Vegas points totals this week are Saints Colts or 43.5. I imagine this game is not going to have a lot of points to it. The Saints kind of have a good defense, don't particularly have a great offense. Colts don't have a particularly great offense. Their defense. Their offense is probably okay. Jaguars Steelers. Again, the Jaguars have kind of struggled this year. Steelers defense is not very good, but with the weather, I think that's going to kind of also play in the role with it. Vegas doesn't see a lot of points being scored in that game. A little surprised at this point total with the Texans and Panthers. Texans are only a 3-point favorite, and there's only 43 points to be scored. So it looks like Vegas is expecting the Panthers are going to do a little bit better than they were doing coming out of the bye, especially with the change in play calling that we'll talk about. Eagles, Commanders. Eagles, I think, are a 7-point favorite in this one. So they're expecting the Eagles to put up a majority of these 43, 44 points. Rams, Cowboys. Rams have an okay defense. Cowboys have been, a little all over the place this year. So again, like this is one of the higher scoring games this week. Patriots, Dolphins at 47. Mostly this is going to be on the Dolphins sides. Don't be surprised if the Patriots are able to slow down the Dolphins. Patriots are still a good defense overall, even though they may have lost some pieces. Jets, Giants only at 35.5 does not surprise me whatsoever. Don't want pieces of that game if I can get away with it. Falcons, Titans at 35 points. Again, not a lot of scoring going on there. One, I'm kind of curious on what the spread is for that one. Only 2.5 points difference between the two teams. So neither of them are expected to score a lot of points in that game. So it's not just that the Titans are not going to be scoring and the Falcons are. Vikings, Packers at 42. Browns, Seattle at 37.5. Yeah, both Seahawks have a sneaky good defense, and the Browns probably have the best in the business. That doesn't surprise me. Chiefs, Broncos are at 47, and again, I'm just going to go ahead and guess that that's mostly off of the Chiefs doing the damage in that one. Yes, the Chiefs are 7-point favorites on the road. And then Bengals 49ers at 43.5. I'm a little surprised that's as low as it is. Then again, now I think about it, probably not. Ravens Cardinals at 44.5. And again, I'm going to guess that this is heavily based off of the fact that they think the Ravens are going to hang some points on them. 9.5-point favorites. And then finally, Bears, Chargers. Chargers are 8.5-point favorites. I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes the other direction and doesn't quite live up to the hype in that game. Raiders, Lions. Lions are 8-point favorites in that game. I want to see the point total on that one. As you see that I'm really prepared for today. 46 total points to be scored in that game, mostly on the Lions side, and then the Chargers, Bears, 46.5, mostly on the Chargers side. So anyway, let's get into the individual plays. Everybody's in play this week. No buys. Getting ready to next week. There's those 4 buys next week. But we're just going to focus on everybody because everybody's in play next week. It'll be easier because there'll be less guys to choose from. So Matthew Stafford against the Cowboys, I would probably be sitting him outside of deeper leagues. The Cowboys defense has looked really good and not so good, but I would err on the side. Matthew Stafford hasn't been actually getting the touchdowns, which you need from a guy who doesn't have the nimbly bimbly. So I'd be sitting him. Dak, I'd be starting, even though the Rams have been an okay overall defense. But I'm kind of expecting that this rushing play. I was listening to one of the podcasts and they said they had 4 design running plays for Dak. So if Dak can keep the overall design or the rushing floor in there, he's going to be a weekly start regardless. Tony Pollard, you're still rolling out there just because of the usage, even though he hasn't been efficient. The cuff is Rico Dowdle, if you're wondering. I think he's one of the more valuable cuffs right now, even though Dallas is one of the places that they are talking about Derrick Henry going to. So be aware of that one way or another going into next week, whether or not you want to cuff him or not. Darrell Henderson against the Dallas defense. I think overall between Henderson, Freeman, and Gaskins, if you can get away with not rolling any of these guys, it might be the best play to go because I don't know how it's going to shake out. Henderson did have a majority of the snaps last week. Freeman did was more efficient with his 12 carries, and then Gaskins probably going to be implemented in the game plan. And I would not be surprised if it's going to be very unpredictable who gets the carry or the touches and in what situation, especially against that Dallas defense. Let's moving forward. CeeDee Lamb obviously is a start. I'm gonna guess right now because everybody's live. There's no bye weeks that like Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks probably are not guys I would be looking to roll out. I think there are better guys that I can maybe guess are going to have a spike week that are in that wide receiver 3 type range. Puka and Kupp are obviously rolls. Tutu Atwell this week against Dallas, probably not going to roll him out. Jake Ferguson, sneaky play in that tight end range. If you're wondering, the Rams are middle of the pack when it comes to the pass and the run, so I could see him getting an opportunity to score a touchdown, and that's the biggest thing that we're looking at for these guys in the tight end wasteland is their ability to get the red zone targets, and he was up there. So if you're chasing some type of tight end points, there are going to be worse guys to roll out. And Tyler Higbee, I wouldn't be rolling out this week because primarily it looks like the target funnels are going to be Puka and Kupp, so I don't think he's viable this week. Let's see. We have the Packers and the Vikings. Kirk Cousins this week. Yeah, I'm rolling out Kirk Cousins. If I have him, Jordan Love. The thing is with the Vikings is they're not a particularly good defense. They've been a little bit better, but surprisingly better, but they blitz a lot. And Jordan Love has had problems against the blitz from what I can understand. So, I don't think it's a Jordan Love week. Alexander Madison and Cam Akers are probably going to be about a 50-50 split, a coin flip about who gets the work and who falls in the end zone. They're not using the running backs in the red zone because they throw when they get into the red zone. And that's why like guys like Jordan Addison and even KJ Osborne have more value than the running backs. So when we're looking at running backs, when it comes to that red zone usage and design passing work, that's just not what's kind of occurring for the Vikings. AJ Jones or Aaron Jones says that he feels good for the first time in a while. He's off the injury report. The coach came out and said, hey, he's not 100%. So I would imagine for a lot of teams out there, if you have Aaron Jones, you probably don't have better options, and I would be rolling him in my RB2 slot. But I would understand if I felt a certain amount of fear that he's going to disappoint me. AJ Dillon, obviously in this game, like I'm going to say if Aaron Jones doesn't have an injury tag, that I should probably not be looking to roll out my AJ Dillon shares. Jordan Addison right now is 100% start smash. KJ Osborne, because again there's no bye weeks, I don't think that he's a guy I'd be looking to roll out. Christian Watson, again, I'm probably sitting him. I'm probably sitting all my Packers pieces this week's outside of Aaron Jones if I can get away with it because of the matchup. If there's a lot of blitzing and Jordan Love has to push the ball down the field vertically in this matchup, I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it matches up very well. Romeo Dobbs, I'm not rolling out. Jaden Reed, I'm not rolling out. TJ Hawkinson, definitely, top tight end this year. I'm going to roll him out. Luke Musgrave, if he can play, I'm probably not rolling him out. But if you're a little desperate and he doesn't go, Tucker Kraft was the other tight end high draft pick that the Packers got this year. So this may be a chance to see what he does. I'm not rolling him out, but as a potential stash or from a dynasty perspective, maybe some interest in this guy this week. Let's see. The Falcons and the Titans. And again, this is going to be a game that's all over the place. So the lower implied point totals this week, I'm probably not rolling out my Desmond shares. I think I could definitely see that Vrabel and the Titans are just going to grind this into pace. It's probably going to be, let's see how to explain this. Because the trade deadline's coming up on Tuesday, I could definitely see the Titans are going to look to see if they can somewhat salvage their seasons with Will Levis and Malik Willis. And neither of these guys are going to be fantasy relevant unless they can get the full work. And Levis has some nimbly bimbly in him. Obviously, Malik Willis does. I'm not stashing either one of these guys, but I could definitely see the game plan for the Titans is to see if they can win with at least one of these guys. The game's going to slow down. If they can't win, that's going to be the trigger for Derrick Henry to get traded. I could definitely see that happening. So this game's probably going to get very ugly from a fantasy perspective to see if they can win with just defense and Derrick Henry and one of these two guys being serviceable. So I don't know how many pieces of anything I want to be rolling out. Definitely not a Tyler Algier week. Bijan, I mean, you probably paid for him last week aside. I'm rolling him out. Cordell Patterson, I would be aware that he's going to do something to somebody's work this week. So, be ready for Bijan to disappoint you, not just from a game script standpoint, but also because of Cordell Patterson. Derrick Henry, I'm rolling out in this game because I think it's going to be ugly and they're going to grind it into paste. Tyjae Spears, if he's available in any of your leagues, this is the reason why I have him up. If he's available in any of your leagues, he should be stashed at the bottom of your bench. I don't think he's going to be a league winner anymore just because unless Malik Willis has made a jump or Will Levis is a lot better than what everybody thought he was going to be, probably tempers how he's going to be used, but I could definitely see that he's going to get a lot of design passing work in the second half of the season, along with probably about like 10, 15 touches a game on the ground. So if Henry gets traded, this is probably the closest thing to a league winner coming off the waiver wire. So I would be picking him up. That's why I have him up, not for sit start, but just in general. Got a lot of value there. Gonna guess, even as bad as the Titans secondary is, it may not be a Drake London week. Hopkins, I can definitely see maybe getting being a target funnel this week. So I can think about rolling him out, even though again the Falcons are a good defense. But if they want to see what they have left in these guys for that run, I could see him being a sneaky rollout in that like flex wide receiver 3 range. I don't think it's a Burks week. Kyle Pitts, I would probably be going in different directions this week. Just because of how unpredictable the Falcons have been. And this is like, again, the Titans are going to slow the game down. They're going to really minimize the splash plays that are good for fantasy. Try and keep the game manageable until the fourth quarter where they could maybe pull something out. And again, that's just kind of like, unless we can see better than 50% snap share for Kyle Pitts and even Jonnu Smith, they're kind of splitting time right now and splitting the targets up. This game says like, I don't want pieces of this outside of the guys that I paid for and I kind of have to roll out. And again, a little bit of a possibility for those that are wondering out there that this could change Chigg's value going forward if one of these two quarterbacks looks serviceable in the NFL. All right. The Saints and the Colts. Derek Carr, like I said, I won't trust Derek Carr. If you got to roll him out in Superflex, I understand. Gardner Minshew, again, probably not a Gardner Minshew week because the Saints are kind of good at football on defense. They're gonna minimize the amount of usage on the other side. Definitely Kamara may finish the season as the overall running back one with his just as how Derek Carr is checking it down to Kamara. Jamal Williams looks like the handcuff if you're into that type of thing. Jonathan Taylor, I'm probably rolling him out just because like if I paid for him, I'm going to use him this week, even though it's a bad matchup. And with emphasis that I could definitely see him being used in the passing game a little bit more this week, just because of the matchup. Zach Moss rolling forward, did not participate on Friday. So again, I'm thinking that there's a possibility he gets traded going into next week. So if you were going to roll him out anyway, based off the bad matchup and Jonathan Taylor being taking over more of the workhorse role, I would be looking at the actives on Sunday morning. And if he's available in your league somehow, or you could trade for him on the cheap, This is a guy that definitely, with that DMP at the beginning of the week and DMP now, I could definitely see him getting shipped by the deadline on Tuesday. So Olave, yeah, we're rolling him out because reasons. Michael Thomas, probably not in this one. I'm going to be looking at the usage flop between Shaheed and Michael Thomas. So if I'm in that wide receiver 3 range and I'm looking to roll somebody out, it's probably going to be Shaheed this week and not Michael Thomas. Michael Pittman, I think, is a roll just because he has been such a target hog when he's been given the opportunity. If I have Josh Downs this week, I think I could roll him out. I don't know how the target share is going to split between the two, between Michael Pittman and him. So if I'm a Josh Downs owner and I paid to get him this week, then I'm rolling him out. Kind of the opposite reason why I'd be rolling Michael Pittman out. I'm banking on the guy that I put my capital into. If the Saints may take away Michael Pittman, then it's a Josh Down week. If they decide to take about if Josh Downs doesn't get there, it's because Michael Pittman's getting the target. If that makes sense. So again, it's a coin flip. If I'm the owner of one, I'm betting against the other guy in this game. Alec Pierce again in those wide receiver 3 range. Just going to get the guy he's going to be a guy that's going to get there this year a couple of times because he hits the big play going down the middle of the field. Taysom Hill, if you paid for him, I'd be rolling him out, even though I would temper my expectation. Jawan Johnson was cleared to play Sunday. So if he gets the design tight end usage in the passing game, it's going to limit both the floor and the ceiling of Taysom Hill this week. And I don't even know why I put this up there, but Kylan Granson is not going to play this week. I don't think the Colts tight ends are a thing this year. Patriots, Dolphins. So again, I'm going to expect that this game does not go the way that certain people think it's going to go. I think I can see that the Patriots will keep it interesting for a while. That will limit the ceiling on the Dolphins players, but I'm still rolling out my Dolphins players, if that makes sense. So Mac Jones, I think, can keep it serviceable if the defense can keep them in the game. Tua, again, I talked about this on the After Waiver show. If I have the ability to not roll Tua this game, I would definitely think about doing that because I could see that the Patriots are able to keep the scoring down, and because Tua is going to benefit from being in games where he can keep the passing volume up and throw touchdowns, and this may not be the game where that occurs. So knowing ahead that I may be able to predict the fact that Tua, it gives me a 40-degree or less than a 40-degree day, and there may be better matchups I can roll out there in that low-end quarterback 1 range. If I'm in a super flex league or two quarterback league, then I'm definitely playing him. Doesn't matter. This is a Ramondre week based off a matchup. And I could even think about rolling Zeke out. I could definitely see that the Patriots are going to give them a heavy dose of those 2 running backs to try and keep in the game and control the clock. I'm sticking with Mostert if I can get him. If I'm in a very desperate situation in that running back flex range, Jeff Wilson is supposedly, through Coach Cock, going to see more touches this week. Don't know what that means. And that means if I have Solomon Ahmed or I don't know about it, I'm not rolling him out. Again, I talked about Kendrick Bourne before. If I'm rolling Kendrick Bourne, I'm probably in a really bad spot. But if the Patriots are going to have the possibility of winning this week, it's either going to be him. And I didn't talk about Demario Douglas because I didn't know that much about him in the After Waiver show. So Demario Douglas, this is maybe the guy I'd be more interested than rolling Kendrick Bourne out. He's like a 4.4 guy, but coming out of a small Liberty school. But he did maybe be faster than he was timed, if that makes sense. He was at 62% snaps, was in the design running game on jet sweeps, 6 for 64, a little bit more verticality to him. Design passing play on the screen game. So like if I have to choose in that wide receiver three range between more of a possession guy and a faster guy that can maybe win me my week, I'm probably going to be just going with Demario Douglas. But besides that, I want to be paying attention to not just his snap share going up from 62, maybe being a full-time player. He is small, but also that his usage remains. So if everything works out and Mac Jones is serviceable again and Demario Douglas's overall usage goes up, he's going to be a guy I would be looking to pick up next week, but I can stash him now expecting that change going forward. Tyreek Hill, obviously I'm playing him. He's cleared to play. Whatever was going on this week doesn't matter. I'm still rolling out Jaylen Warren. Doesn't matter. I am going to be paying attention to Cedric Wilson, that 59% snaps versus Chase Claypool. I don't think Chase Claypool is necessarily in that stash land yet. But again, if I want to stay ahead of this, and I can definitely see that Chase Claypool may end up being the beneficiary down the line, like I talked about before, that boundary X. I could definitely see him being the beneficiary of teams trying to shut down Waddle and Hill. And a game like this against the Patriots, this may be the game. But again, that's just me, grifting into the mic. Let's see. The Jets and the Giants, I probably don't want to be rolling out any, deeper pieces in this game. 2 quarterback leagues, like I said, like Zach Wilson does have some appeal because of that nimbly-bimbly that he's going to give you. And this could be a very good matchup with these two teams. The Giants, I don't think, have been very good on defense this year. Have them pulled up someplace. So overall, in the passing game, the Giants, I think, have been towards the bottom, and I think they're also not particularly good against the run. Yeah, they're towards it. So they're not a very good defense. Again, showing how prepared I am for everything this year. That's the wrong game. So I could definitely see Zach Wilson being able to get done on the ground and being able to get a hold of Garrett Wilson. And those are probably the only 2 pieces that I'd be rolling out. Again, Zach Wilson in those deeper super flex type 2 quarterback leads. Daniel Jones is not cleared to play. That means Tyrod Taylor. Again, there's some streamability. He played well last week, and he's got some rushing floor to him. Breece Hall, definitely I'm rolling him out. Dalvin Cook is another guy because of the trade deadline. I think there's not a lot left, and there may be some rumors about it. So if you want to stash him at the bottom of your bench, you can. And that would mean that, like, if you're expecting some of that stuff, that Michael Carter may be the handcuff to Breece Hall. But again, I think if Breece Hall goes down, I don't know if it matters at that point. Saquon Barkley, obviously I'm rolling him out. I don't think this is a particularly good matchup for him. I think it may be better for some of the other guys down the line. Garrett Wilson, I think, if we can continue to get that receiving work up, the target share up, and this is a week where he could definitely go home because of the matchup. Jalen Hyatt, again, other guys in that wide receiver 3 range that I could see getting home this week. And again, because Darren Waller is now back into what we thought he was going to be from that tight end 1, mid to high end tight end 1 range. If he's getting some of the attention taken away from him, this may be the week that Jalen Hyatt gets home. Again, watching that snap share and those targets go up. We'll talk about Trey Flowers again at the end of the video. Trey Palmer, excuse me. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. Like in that wide receiver 3 range, if I'm getting desperate, I would rather throw my dart at a Jalen Hyatt than some of the other guys that are out there. Tyler Conklin, if you're in really deep leagues and you need the floor, he's going to probably give it to you. And Darren Waller, he is cleared to play. The rumors right now that he's expected to play. So, I mean, I'm just rolling him out there, getting what I paid for in Darren Waller. Let's see. Trevor Lawrence. This is probably a week to be sitting Trevor Lawrence based off the weather and the matchup. Steelers defense hasn't been particularly good, but again, I can see the game being slow and ugly. And if we can't guarantee that rushing upside like he had last week, that means we're banking on him getting it done through the air, and he just really hasn't gotten that done yet this year. So probably not Trevor Lawrence week. Kenny Pickett, again, I don't think he's overwhelmingly usable. Travis Etienne, I'm definitely rolling him out. Elite to sub-elite, somewhere in that range. High end running back 1, doesn't matter. Najee Harris week, yeah, maybe. Because of the weather, I just don't think it's going to be a Jalen Warren week. So if I paid for Najee Harris, I could probably roll him out with some confidence. So some of what I've been listening to and thinking about, I can definitely see that Zay Jones not being able to pull coverage has not allowed Calvin Ridley to get home. Now, the thing is, if the Steelers run a lot of man coverage and Calvin Ridley can take advantage of man like Puka did last week, I could definitely see this being a Calvin Ridley week, but I think he's more in that wide receiver 3 range. So if I have better options, I would be going towards him with Zay Jones being out. And the beneficiary of all the stuff that we're talking about, yes, I'm still rolling out my Christian Kirk shares. George Pickens, I'm rolling out. Deontay Johnson, I'm going to be happy about with Muth being on IR. I think those targets have to go someplace. I can see it going to Deontay Johnson. So some of those guys, if I want a safer floor guy in the wide receiver 3 range, I could do worse than Deontay Johnson. But again, just the pecking order of how I usually go about my sit starts is it the number one? Then yes, I'm always rolling them. Is it the number two? Yeah, probably I will roll them, especially in some of the better matchups. And since the other guy that he would be getting targets taken away from is not there, he's going to get those targets. I can almost guarantee it. We'll talk about that with the 49ers coming down the line. And then Evan Ingram this week. If you're in a position where you're rolling Evan Ingram out, you probably don't have another tight end, and he's going to be a fine tight end to roll out, even though I think there's a lot of cap to what he's going to be able to give me. All right, so Eagles and Redskins. Jalen Hurts doesn't have an injury designation going forward. Probably not going to roll out Sam Howell if I can get away with it. But again, this may be a game where he has to, bortle his way into my fantasy stat line. So if the Eagles jump out, because the Redskins don't have a good secondary, I can see Sam Howell having to throw a lot, which means that could turn into the high volume passing that I want. And I don't care if he gets sacked or turns the ball over, as long as he, puts up a lot of yards and gives me a couple touchdowns. So maybe it is a Sam Howell week. DeAndre Swift, I'm rolling him out there at this point. Being aware that like Kenny Gainwell is probably going to cap his upside with his use in the red zone and that 30 to 40% snaps that he's going to get. Not a B-Rob week. I'm expecting that Chris Rodriguez continues to eat into the usage, and especially that red zone usage. So I want to stay away from B-Rob, especially with the potential of this game script. Again, the reason why I bring up Antonio Gibson, maybe got some sneaky play at the end of this game, but he's another guy that if he's available in my league to stash with the waiver wire or with the trade deadline coming up, I could see him getting moved in this offense. Last year, his deal. Obviously, elite AJ Brown. I'm rolling out my Devontae Smith shares, especially with the matchup against that bad Redskins secondary. I'm still rolling out Terry McLaurin again, high end wide receiver 2. Going to be that target funnel. I can see the Eagles trying to take him away, but the Eagles defense has not quite lived up to what their expectation was. And because of this, I'm going to stay away from Curtis Samuel and Johan Johnson. I don't think either of them are playable. And if I spent on Dallas Goedert, I'm still rolling him out. And definitely probably a Logan Thomas week. If they're pushing vertical because of the game script and he's going to get those checkdowns, I could definitely see him giving you that 40-degree day with a chance for a touchdown. CJ Stroud against the Panthers. I'm rolling CJ Stroud out as a low-end quarterback one. If I can, I'm okay with that. I'm rolling him out in one of my leagues, and just be aware that like he's going to live in this probably 15 to 20 point range for the entire season. Could fall in that 10-point range. I don't think that's going to be a problem with the Carolina Panthers this week, but he's going to have a very capped floor and ceiling, which from a certain perspective is fine in fantasy. The only reason why I bring up Bryce Young, especially from a fantasy or dynasty perspective, the change in play calling and the trade deadline coming up, there is a potential that the Panthers will either be buyers or sellers, and that will heavily change Bryce Young's value. Dameon Pierce. I would not be rolling out my Dameon Pierce shares. If this is just me, if I paid for him, I'm probably going to roll them out and hope that I'm right. But at this point, I'm expecting the usage flop. So if you want to get sneaky and roll Devin Singletary out there in your flex / RB2 spots, expecting this flop continues, I could see that going on. But again, the game flow in this one may project towards the Texans controlling the game. And that would mean that this could be a Pierce week, even if the usage shifts happens, if that makes any sense to anybody out there. Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, I am expecting some type of timeshare going on. Hopefully you guys enjoy that motorcycle too. This is a Nico Collins week. Nico Collins is, if not he is not a wide receiver one. I don't think he'll ever get there this year, but I could definitely see he's a really high-end wide receiver too. So I would be rolling him out there every week and just not really thinking about it. Tank Dell is back. Robert Woods is out. So from a low-end wide receiver 3 standpoint, he is a roll this week if you have him and you spent on him. I'm expecting the ghost of Adam Thielen to take a hit. That's why I'd be looking to stash Jonathan Mingo. And he would even be a sneaky play this week, expecting that there could be the possibility of usage flopping based off the change in the play calling. And then Dalton Schultz, I think, is kind of a set and forget low end to mid range tight end for the rest of the season. So, I'm rolling him out and I'm not thinking too much about it. Browns and Seahawks. This is probably going to be another ugly game. Good defense versus good defense. PJ Walker is going to be rolling for Deshaun Watson. Surprisingly, the Browns offense has been better with PJ Walker than it has been with Deshaun Watson. Not a Geno Smith week because of the matchup. Jerome Ford may be a roll. I don't know. You do you. He's responded well to therapy. He did actually individual drills this week on Friday, so he could be playing this week. So be aware of that. If you're a Kareem Hunt owner, you got to check those those actives, inactives, and all of this. Pierre Strong may still be a sneaky start if Jerome Ford is out. Even if Kareem Hunt's there, he may end up with the bulk of the work this week. Kenneth Walker doesn't have an injury at designation. Zach Charbonnet gets full participation. So, if you thought that you were going to get a sneaky start out of Zach Charbonnet, it's not going to happen this week. But, if he's still available, still one of the higher end cuffs. I paid for Amari Cooper. I'm just going to roll him out, know that it's going to be boom bust probably the rest of the season, just with the way that the Browns have been playing. And Elijah Moore is still going to be in that, safe floor wide receiver 3 range with his usage going on, even in a bad matchup against the Seahawks, which makes me think that he's going to be a safer play than Amari Cooper is. DK Metcalf is ready to go. But what concerns me overall with all these wide receivers, if I have the ability to even pivot away from DK, is Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Jake Bobo. I have no idea how the usage is going to shake its way out. And if all 4 of these wide receivers continue to get work, it's going to become very unpredictable to know who's going to be the guy who gets it done this week. So, since DK is back, I'm probably not looking to roll any of them, even though all of them should be rostered. And then finally, if I have David Njoku, I'm rolling him out. He's again in that low end to mid range wide receiver or tight end 1, and I'm just going to set him and forget him and not think much about him, unless I'm pulling other guys off the waiver wire. And this week would be a bad matchup if I could roll somebody else out in his slot. Let's see. Chiefs and Broncos. So a little surprising that there's the lower Vegas point total with this game, and I don't really know what's up with that if I can find it. Like 47 overall points, and there's only a what are they, like a 7-point favorite in this game. So that's a little surprising to me. I think that there may be other stuff involved as I click through everybody trying to find where I was. But obviously I'm rolling out Mahomes. There's not a lot of pieces to be rolled out in this game, all things considered. Again, if I'm rolling out Russ, I'm probably in a bad spot, even in 2 quarterback leagues. Isaiah Pacheco, high-end running back 2, I'm going to continue to roll him out, even though I'm aware that the other 2 running backs are going to cut into his ceiling. I'm going to guess it's not a Javonte Williams week based off of game flow. So it is a Jaleel McLaughlin week. I could see that he's going to be heavily used in the passing game. Rashee Rice, I think he's a set and forget start at this point, either in that wide receiver 2 or flex wide receiver 3 range. Courtland Sutton, I think, is a start. Sometimes I don't have to know how the sausage is made, and he's just been getting it done for me. Jerry Jeudy, I don't think is a start. Chiefs may have one of the better defenses in football, and the only reason why I talk about Jerry Jeudy is the chance he's going to get moved. I don't think it's going to affect his value one way or the other. And then obviously the unicorn, it doesn't matter. I just forget that I have the tight end position because it doesn't. The only week it matters with Travis Kelce is if he's injured or he's on bye. All right. So Baltimore going up against Arizona. This is an implied blowout. Josh Dobbs, maybe his last game. Kyler Murray as doubtful, probably not going to roll him this week. Gus Bus, maybe his week based off of game flow. This is one of those games that would not be surprise me if the Cardinals are very competitive in, just because they've kind of gotten that done when they're in these games where they've been the huge underdog. They just found a way to get it done. This is like me telling you this is a gut feeling. Justice Hill, probably not rolling him out. Amari DiMercado, if I have him as an owner and I have to roll him out, I'm thinking that he's going to continue this 80% snaps, getting like 90+% workload. And if this is a Baltimore game where they jump out, I'm expecting that I could get that passing workload out of him, and that's how he's going to get me home. So even though they may not be scoring a lot of points, not be a good offense, the fact that if he's getting the passing work, that means it's going to translate, and it's going to give me that relatively safe floor to get whatever else I get out of him in a game. So I would be okay rolling him out. Zay Flowers, I think at this point is a set and forget start, somewhere in that like low end wide receiver 2 to flex wide receiver 3 territory. So I'm fine with him. Marquise Brown, I'm going to say I would still be collecting my shares of these guys, waiting on Kyler Murray to roll out. I could definitely see that the Ravens are getting better on defense than they were at the beginning of the season, injuries and whatnot. It may be, if I'm looking to roll a guy out and be sneaky, this may be a Michael Wilson week. I could definitely see that they're going to try and take away Hollywood Brown, and then Michael Wilson gets away with it the last game for Josh Dobbs going forward. Mark Andrews, hey, I paid for him. And then this would be a guy like versus someone like a Njoku or some of those other like fringe guys. I definitely want to stash Trey McBride, see how he goes forward. But I could see in this game, if they're going to take away Hollywood Brown, which is their top receiving option and probably their number one offensive weapon, the other guys like a Michael Wilson or a Trey McBride, I could definitely see taking advantage of this and getting that work done. So this would be a week that I would be rolling out Trey McBride and not just stashing him based off the matchup. All right. So Bengals and 49ers, I did read that Joe Burrow took snaps under center for the first time since he took his calf. So this would totally open up the playbook. Yes, I'm rolling him out. And then because of the fact that the 49ers are a good team, I could expect that there's going to be the possibility for more of a shootout, which means overall good offense. You're probably already rolling out Joe Burrow, but I would be very excited in this game. Brock Purdy is trending towards playing. I did hear that the head coach of the 49ers really wants to play Sam Darnold regardless, because it allows him to open up the playbook with the quarterback mobility stuff. So be advised, if you are thinking about rolling Brock Purdy out, Sam Darnold still may get the start because they can be cute. Joe Mixon owners, hey, yeah, I'm probably paid for him. I'm going to roll him out. Tre'Davious Williams may be the handcuff, but again, if I'm a Mixon owner, I'm going to be paying attention to this uptick by Chase Brown. So if I have the ability to stash, especially in dynasty leagues, I'm going to be doing that. Christian McCaffrey, obviously I don't have to talk anything more about him. Jamar Chase, I don't have to talk anymore about him. And again, this is a T. Higgins week. He should be healthy for the first time. Joe Burrow is healthy. I could definitely see this being a T. Higgins week. So yeah, I feel very confident rolling him out. Debo is out, which opens up Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. And then I talked about this in the after waiver show. Juwan Jennings, if they're going to try and take away Ayuk or Kittle in this matchup that I think could end up being kind of a sneaky shootout, Juwan Jennings in that wide receiver 3 range, I could see getting home, especially after 9 targets against Minnesota, in that similar type of game flow that I could expect going on with the Bengals. All right. So Bears and Chargers, do not be surprised if this is a very ugly game or the Bears actually get this done somehow. So Justin Fields is ruled out. Tyler Bagent, would not be surprised if they continue to open up the playbook a little bit. The Chargers are probably one of those teams that we thought were going to be good that are actually not good. So I would not be surprised if Bagent gets it done a little bit more in this game. Justin Herbert has disappointed. There may be some reasons behind it, but again, sometimes I don't really care how the sausage is made. And if he's not getting it done, he's not getting it done. And the Bears did look better in their last outing on defense. So I could definitely see that trend continuing in this game, where it's maybe not the Chargers blowout that we think it is, and the Bears are able to keep it competitive. DJ Moore, definitely a start in this one. Keenan Allen, yes, I'm rolling him out. Josh Palmer is a game time decision. I would be rolling Josh Palmer out if he's healthy. If he's not, you're looking at Jalen Guyton making his debut, and this actually opens the door for a sneaky Quentin Johnston look at. I wouldn't be rolling him out, but I could definitely see his usage uptick going on, something I'd be paying attention to. Cole Kmet, I'm definitely rolling out, the number 2 option in the Bears passing offense, with the expectation that Bagent takes a little bit of a step forward. I would be rolling Cole Kmet out. And then if you're rolling Gerald Everett, that did get a questionable practice in at the end, or a full practice in at the end of this week, or Donald Parham, be aware that it's a coin flip. But if for some reason Gerald Everett doesn't play, I could definitely see Donald Parham being a sneaky play at the tight end position if he can get all the work to himself. Raiders and Lions. So Jimmy G is active. I think this helps. Where's his face? Jacoby Myers more than it does Devontae Adams in this game. So be aware of that. Jared Goff, game flow is saying that this game is going to be a blowout by the Lions. No David Montgomery, so I expect majority of this may get done in the passing game. So this may be a Jared Goff game against that not good Raiders defense. Let's see. So I'm rolling out my Josh Jacobs shares. He's a running back too because of efficiency, but he's getting that elite work share, so I could definitely see him getting it done one way or the other just by volume. David Montgomery is probably not going to be playing this week, so if I'm a Jahmyr Gibbs owner, or I've cuffed him with Gibbs or with Montgomery, I'm rolling Gibbs out, expecting that monster workload that he had week 3 against Atlanta, 60% snaps, 17 carries, 80. Didn't get it done through the air, but then when the game script flipped, he was at 87% snaps last week, only 11 carries, 68 yards, got one on the ground, but did do 10 for 9 for 58. So yeah, I'm really comfortable rolling Jahmyr Gibbs out one way or another. I think he's going to get it done with David Montgomery out. Brings me to Devontae Adams. Yeah, I paid for him. I'm going to continue to roll him out. I kind of have to. But if I'm a Jacoby Myers owner with Jimmy Garoppolo back, I'm rolling my shares of Jacoby Myers. Trey Tucker, the only reason why I bring him up is I want to be paying attention to the snap share going up. So if I have the ability to stash in those deeper leagues with the expectation that his snap share will go up, that's what I want to do. I'm always rolling the Sun God. This is probably a Michael Mayer week with Jimmy Garoppolo back if I'm really desperate. But again, everybody's live, so I don't know how many people have to go dip into their Michael Mayer week shares. There's probably the expectation he's going to be the number 3 in this offense going forward. If Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback. And then obviously I'm continuing to roll Sam Laporta out. All right. And I think that's about it for the schedules this week. And it's been a long one, and I walked through everything. Hopefully this helps you set your lineup. And for those of you that care, I will talk about this Buffalo Bills Tampa Bay game. I did watch this live over at one of my co-managers' house. Baker Mayfield is horrible. I don't know how much this was a coaching issue or how much this was a Baker Mayfield issue. Whatever was going on, he couldn't process information, or they were calling bad plays where they weren't allowing him to just do quick checkdowns. So he was trying to push the ball down the field, even late in the game when they should have just been taking what the Buffalo Bills were giving them. Weren't doing that. He's bad. I'm probably will not be talking about Baker Mayfield being able to do anything. If he gets it done in the statistics column and you want to roll him out, that's on you. But whatever was going on in this game, I was not particularly enthused about, either from a coaching standpoint or from a play standpoint. And if you're wondering why I would say it that way, if I can't see the back end, which you can't see on a lot of the broadcasts, I can't see what was going on in the secondary. I can only see what's going on in the pocket. So I can only see if the quarterback's planting his feet and reading. And if he can't do it, then he should be checking it down instead of looking to sit in the pocket and get destroyed. And he has one of the premier receiving backs in Rachaad White, and you can see Rachaad White doing 7 for 70 on 7 targets. So Rachaad White probably should have doubled this. He should have been Alvin Kamara in the same way that Derek Carr isn't reading the the second half of the secondary and just checking it down to Alvin Kamara. That's what Baker May should have been doing, but he wasn't doing it because he's trying to push it down the field. Rachaad White did look pretty good on the ground overall against what is kind of not a good run defense in Buffalo. Chase Edmonds wasn't really a thing on the ground. They were kind of using him when they were getting pinned back in the inside the 20. And again, didn't really cut into Rachaad White's work. I thought this was more what the Buffalo or the Buccaneers were going to be, where they just were like throwing it like 70% throw and just checking down to Rachaad White in the passing game. I think that's how they work best. Godwin gets it done on the air, takes Vultures a touchdown away from Rachaad White. Mike Evans gets it done barely, a ball that bounced off of a defender's helmet and into his hand like late in the game. The Buccaneers did have a chance to win this game. A ball, Hail Mary fell into the end zone. without Chris Godwin being able to track it. Cade Otton, 6 targets. One of these guys, Payne Durham, the backup tight end, dropped like a 30-yarder down the seam. Would have liked to see Trey Otton get that opportunity. Trey Palmer, I'm probably not going to be talking about him. Did have 6 targets, but he dropped like 3 of his opportunities, or they went off his fingertips again because of the angle. The Bills, Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. James Cook, again, if he can't get the receiving work and he's not going to be the red zone back, you're going to get these sub 40-degree days, and there may be better guys to roll out there. You see Latavius Murray did get the red zone carries. I saw this in this game, but the red zone running back is Josh Allen. He got one done on the ground in the red zone himself. And then Shaquille Shakur, this is a little surprising. I didn't even realize he did 6 for 6 for 92. Gabe Davis, week 9 for 87, got that red zone target. Stephon Diggs, still that high volume, 9 for 70. I did get Dalton Kincaid in one of my leagues that slipped through. No one put a bid in on him. Did get it done. Ran this really pretty out and up play late in the game, so that they are pushing him vertically. But you can see at this point, even though he had 7 targets, he was overall the number 4 option in this offense this week. And he did get 7 targets. You could say he's the number 3 option overall in opportunity, but again, he's going to have to eat into Gabe Davis, and Gabe Davis was the guy that they were pushing the ball to down the field a little bit more, and got the red zone opportunity. Dalton Kincaid got through on a scramble for his touchdown. So anyway, that's about all I got for today. 46 minutes. This is a longer one. Hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah.